So I'm going to go ahead and start with just a little bit of an introduction. This month in our Shanti Yoga teacher training program, our theme is pranayama and meditation. And so I've been using these classes here, these Facebook Live classes, to have sessions that correlate with those themes. Last Friday we did dharana, which was one-pointed focus. And so in Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga, the next step after dharana, one-pointed focus, is dhyana, which means, it basically means, it's the same thing as meditation. It's where we are not just concentrating on something as we were last week, not just focusing, but actually feeling immersed in that. And I think it's a little bit like flow. If you think of the concept of flow, being able to go with the flow. There's been a lot of research done on flow. The Russian scientist Csikszentmihalyi, that's how his name sounds, I can't spell it for you, but he's done a lot of research on flow and found that we get into these flow states where we're just totally immersed in something through various modalities. Some people, yes, it's sitting in a classic meditation position and holding that position and being there, and that can take you to flow. But flow can also be movement. All of life is flow. Life moves in spirals. Nature moves in spirals. So a lot of people find running or playing music or painting. There's many other things that bring us into that state of flow. So that's going to be our theme today. We're going to do meditation, but it's going to feel more like moving meditation. Okay, so to begin with, find something to sit on. It might just be your mat, it might be the couch, it might be your bed, whatever. And we're just going to take a few moments to come into what we feel a little bit is like our own natural flow. So if it feels more comfortable for you even to be walking around, feel free to do that. But the idea is just to really come into the present with as many senses as possible. So that means feeling the temperature of the air on your skin, hearing the sounds around you. If you want, you can close your eyes and look at the back of your eyelid, noticing what that looks like, the back of your eyelid. Or another technique is to look at something. I'm looking out the window at a tree. Look at that tree and then close your eyes and keep that image in your mind's eye. And then let's go ahead and focus on our breathing. So feel the breath moving through your nostrils, through your throat, through your chest, through your belly. And as you exhale, feel the breath moving out. So noticing where you are in this space, noticing your breath, and just be here with this experience for a few more seconds. I'm just going to time this for 15 more seconds. So just staying with being here in this space with your breath. All right. Now to begin our practice, we're going to take that sense of feeling our own flow with us. So that'll be the character. I've been talking a lot about taking a character with us in our practice, so that'll be kind of our protagonist today. So to begin our practice, let's join together in the universal vibrational sound of Om, the tuning fork of the universe. It's said to be the ancient Sanskrit sound. And usually you think of it as being like 3 syllables, but just make it your own. So bring your palms together at the heart center. Take a deep inhale. And then relax your hands down to your lap. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. And then we're going to begin with flowing in our in this seated position a little bit by just simply rocking our pelvic girdle forward and backward. So if you were to imagine that your pelvic girdle were a bowl, you're going to be feeling like you're tipping the bowl forward, and then you're tipping the bowl backwards. So tipping forward and backward. And then let the spine participate a little bit more. So letting the action initiate at the pelvic girdle, tip the pelvic girdle forward, and then feel the whole spine arch. And then tip the pelvic girdle backward and feel the whole spine arch in the opposite direction. Basically, they're both arches. So feeling that action, and then play with it a little bit. So this is where the idea of flow comes in. So I've kind of given you a template to begin with. Go ahead and begin to make this a little bit more playful or a little bit more you. Let yourself be immersed in the practice of just flowing with your own body, your own intuitive body. So you can tip it forward perhaps, and then maybe roll your ribs over to one side, and then roll back, and then roll to the other side. Almost like your spine, I've used this metaphor before, it's like your spine is a finger in a jar of peanut butter, and you're just trying to roll it around, and then roll in the opposite direction, taking those spirals, those circles in the opposite direction. And then you might begin to let your shoulders get involved a little bit. Maybe you even want to just keep your spine a little bit more straight and just roll your elbows in little circles and then the other way, and let your wrists get involved as well. So most of us are by ourselves or with people that see us doing silly things all the time. So here, nobody can see you. Let yourself feel your own flow. What feels good to you in your body? You could even feel some action in the neck. Of course, I have to put on my biomechanics hat. Never roll your neck in a big circle like we used to teach people to do. But feel free to just maybe drop the chin towards your chest and rock your chin side to side, or look over one shoulder and then the other. The idea here, and we'll do this for about 15 more seconds, the idea is just to let your body flow. Feel your body flowing. Trust in your own intuition. So not just what I've told you to do, just feel yourself flowing for about 5 more seconds. All right? And then we're going to take this to a little flow on the ground, or on all fours, I should say. So go ahead and come around into your, some people call this cat pose, some people call it, I'm going to stand, go this way. Some people call it table. But with your hands under your shoulders and a little bit ahead of your shoulders, bend your elbows, and just feel as you begin to straighten your arms that you're kind of hugging the elbows back behind you a little bit. So it's this kind of action, like you're, so that's going to give you a nice solid pillars to support your body. And then bring your knees hip distance apart and tuck your toes. And let's do that same flowing action here. So forward and backward pelvic tilt. And then let your spine roll in big circles. Maybe roll in one direction and then the other. And then even though your arms are the pillars, you can feel a little bend in the shoulders to make it more interesting for you and to give you a little bit more mobility. Okay? And then you might even drop your hips over to one side and feel like I'm dropping my hips over to the left, and I can feel a much deeper stretch out of my left hip on the outside. And then you can go to the other side. How does that side feel? Just feel yourself flowing for about 15 more seconds. Your head, your neck too, you can drop your chin in and lift it up, look over. We're really exploring how our body feels in movement this morning. Hopefully the idea is to be immersed in your the sensations that you're feeling from your body. And then we're going to take this into a little bit more structured flow. So go ahead and bring your hips back behind you. So this is extended child pose. If it bothers your knees, you don't have to go all the way down like I'm doing, okay? And then we're going to walk our hands back towards our feet and come to a place where you feel that you can settle for a moment. If this bothers your knees, you can put a blanket behind your knees or a block underneath your hips. We're just going to take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth in 2 puffs like this. And go ahead and do that again, just a deep inhale, exhale. And then we're going to take our hands to the top of our legs, feeling ourselves anchored down the tops of our legs. Reach your chest forward, stretch it out, lengthen your arms forward, plant your hands on the floor and kind of push as if you're a cat or a dog. They do it too. Just feel like you're kind of stretching out your spine a little bit more, like I'm pushing my left hand forward and rolling to the left side and then my right hand. And now land your hands back on the floor. We're gonna come up in a big backward pelvic tilt, like a Halloween cat. Just be here for a moment. Walk your hands a little bit more forward. Keep this backward pelvic tilt. Shrug your shoulders again, bringing the elbows in and land your hips to the floor. From here, lift up and look over your left shoulder at your left knee. Come back, look over your right shoulder at your right knee. And from here, we'll press all the way back up and go all the way home and settle in. Okay, so that's a little flow. So I'm going to invite you to add or subtract what you want so that this becomes more your flow. This is a flow that I learned from Eric Schiffman about 20 years ago, and I love it. So you can add to it. One thing I like to add that he would add is you can take time and lift up one knee and lower it, and then the other knee. Some of you might be able to lift up both of your knees. And then take that deep inhale and exhale out the mouth. Empty out, and then press at the top of the legs. Walk your hands forward and play with this shape a little bit. Just feel yourself kind of undulating in this shape. Feel your spine laterally bend to one side and then to the other. Some of you might even add a little twist here. And then when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and round up, backward pelvic tilt. Walk your hands forward. And keeping the backward pelvic tilt, shrug. And then hug the shoulder blades together. Land the hips to the floor. And then look over your left shoulder. And over your right shoulder. And then when you're ready, press, come back up. And all the way back to home. All right, let's do 3 more like that. Just play with it, make it your own thing. See if you can feel more like you're just guided from some inner voice, some intuition. So it might be that you want to add some other variations. You might want to add a twist. You might want to add locust when you come from cobra. You might come up into locust instead. So whatever feels good for you. Just go ahead and play around. You probably have time to do maybe 1 more now. Of course, if it's fun, continue to do it. I really like this flow because it feels like it's just really warming up your spine. So we'll all meet back up at the back end of our mat and settle in for a moment. Pause. You can take a twist to each side. And then the next step is we're going to go ahead and bring our left foot forward. Some of you might have wanted to do a down dog there and then step your left foot forward, okay? So I didn't do the down dog, but if you want to kind of step it up a notch, just down dog. And we're going to bring our left foot forward. Those of us in this low lunge are going to come up to high lunge. And then all of us, we're going to meet up in crescent pose. So crescent pose, we do this a lot. It's going to be a little bit healthier for your hips if you make sure your feet are hip distance apart. Tuck your tailbone towards the floor so that you can bring your pelvic girdle into neutral. We have a tendency to tip forward in this pose, so kind of feel like you're trying to counterbalance that and bring your spine, your pelvic girdle more into neutral by navel back. This is just a little bit of backward pelvic tilt. And then from here, take your right arm up and over, and then come up and then add the twist, twisting to the left. And then take a few more like that. Up and over, up and twist. Come back up and over, up and twist. And bring your palms together at the heart center. I'm going to turn this way and begin to twist towards your front leg, okay? So my front leg is the left. Begin to take that twist towards the left. Pause there for a moment. Feel the action, the stretching action on the outside of your left hip. Press your right heel back. And then if you want, extend your right arm. And if you want, take your right fingertips to the floor or to a block, whatever feels good. From here, those of us who aren't doing down dog, you just bring your knee back down and get that little bonus stretch here. Those of you in down dog, go to down dog, and we'll do the same thing on the other side, stepping the right foot forward. So when you're ready, Bring the right foot forward. Lift up the knee. Come on up. Find that level hip. Take the left hand up and over, and then up and twist. So we did this about 3 times, up and over, and then added the twist. And then we'll take it a little bit deeper. So once you've done the last twist, stay there. Bring your hands to your heart and feel your rib cage moving more towards the sky. Okay, so kind of get that feeling of moving your rib cage towards the sky. Feel the stretch on the outside of your right hip. Press the left heel back. You can extend the left arm forward, bringing more extension into the spine, and then re-land the hand to the floor, or if you have a block, to the floor, or keep it right there on your knee. Okay? So notice what this shape is bringing to you. Just kind of notice the different aspects of it. I gave you a couple places to look, but they might be quite different for you, and maybe you didn't even feel anything in those places that I mentioned. And when you're ready, those of us who are not going to do down dog, we'll just lower to our knee. Those of you who want to do down dog, do down dog. So we're all going to end up in either down dog or extended child position. From here, those of you in down dog, come down into plank and then lower your forearms to the floor. And those of us that are already down here, we can just bring our forearms. So we're going to attempt to keep our elbows underneath our shoulders and your palms. If you had a block, you could feel like your palms are framing that block like this, okay? And then extend your legs straight back, okay? So I'm gonna bring my knees down so I can talk better to you, but, and you can put your knees down too if you want. But basically, feel the work in the core. You're gonna feel your heels pressing back towards, away from your crown reaching away from your heels. So it's as if that right there in the center of your body is the fulcrum, and you're sending a line of energy out through the crown and down through the heels. So feeling that action. And then let's all go ahead and meet up down here on the floor, okay? So I happen to have this block right here. If you have a block or a blanket, go ahead and turn so your left ear is on the block or blanket. Or if you don't have anything, you can just take your ear to the floor, okay? And then we're gonna extend our left arm straight out from our shoulder. Palm is on the floor. Bring the hand down maybe about 2 inches from the shoulder, okay? And then your right arm, you're just gonna plant the right hand there on the floor with your elbow bent and very, very, very gently roll over onto your front left shoulder. I'm bringing my right knee into kind of like I'm lying in tree pose, okay? Be sure that you're not putting too much pressure on that front shoulder, but do feel that nice little stretch. When you're ready, we'll come back down and simply do the same thing on the other side. So bring the right arm down a little bit from the shoulder, put the right ear on the block, and do the stretch. And then we're gonna go ahead and come back, let the block go away, put your hands underneath your shoulders, either press up into chaturanga or press up into half plank and then plank. And then let's all either come into down dog, or again, if you prefer that to move side to side with your knees on the floor, do that, okay? So stretch it out a little bit, your down dog, maybe bend one knee and then the other. And those of you who are in half dog, you can kind of slide your hips side to side. And then we're gonna step our left foot forward, right up next to our left hand. So think of this as if there's a baby sleeping on the floor beneath you, like in your second story building and there's a baby. You wanna be super quiet. You don't wanna just plop your feet down on the floor. And make your way up into crescent again, okay? Here we are in crescent. So if you want, add those little flows that I had you do just a moment ago. But what we're gonna end up doing is shrugging our shoulders towards our ears again, shoulder blades together, hands behind our back. Take a deep inhale through the nose, and then exhale over your left foot. Some people call this humble warrior, especially if your right heel is down. From here, hands to the floor. Walk your hands to the right. Keep your left knee bent. Now bend your right knee. And we did this on Friday or whenever. I do it a lot. Do this little skandasana, it's called. So you're just kind of taking the weight to one side and then the other, okay? Feeling that action. And then either curling up in a rounded back or coming up flat. The main thing is, either way, use your core to come all the way up. Pause. Hands reach up so you can feel as if you're getting your shoulders over your hips, and then both are right in the middle of your feet. Double check your feet. Left foot points forward, right foot is parallel or slightly turned in. Exhale into warrior two. Okay, here's where we're going to add the little idea of flow, sort of like what we did in those other mini sequences, subsets that we were just doing. Get a firm base with your legs. So feel, okay, this is my left leg is in proper position, my right leg's in proper position. Feel the arches lifting in your feet. You might even lift up your toes a little bit to help you do that. So that's your foundation for your flow. From here, let's just go ahead and play with it a little bit. Imagine you've got some paint brushes or a laser beam or something, and we're gonna take the left arm up and across the ceiling and maybe even back down towards the floor. Make it a big circle. Now you've got the laser beam in the right arm. Do the same thing. Feel yourself playing with this shape a little bit. And like I said, no one can see you probably. Just play with it in a way that feels interesting to you. If you are going to move out of this coronal plane, this lateral plane, be very careful. By that I mean like if you're going to lean forward, just watch how that feels on your low back. Otherwise, just stay in this lateral plane and feel yourself enjoying the shape. Maybe go ahead and motor-size it and hold the shape for a moment and just feel your body, even though it's not moving, feel your body flowing. Maybe you want to morph this into another shape by bringing that back like a little bit closer in and taking it into triangle. Or maybe you want to flow it and land in side angle. So let's take about 20 more seconds to play with this shape. Feel your breath in this shape. The breath will help you flow more. It'll help you become more intuitive. So as you move, notice your breath just like you did at the beginning. Remember that idea of being completely immersed in this present moment. Again, you also might take in the way the room feels, the temperature of the room. Let this be almost like a moving meditation. Okay? And then when you're ready, we're just going to go ahead and come back up into warrior two. Pause, and we're going to come out of this the same way we went into it. So go ahead and bend your knees back down to the floor again. Walk your hands back to the front of your mat. Walk your left foot over a little bit so your feet again are hip distance apart. Bring this back foot in closer. Hands to the hips, and we're going to come up into pyramid. Find your pyramid shape. Your feet are hip distance apart. Double check that. Now your right foot is facing the right front corner of your mat. Okay, so this, just like on the other shape, this is our foundation. From your foundation, play with this little shape, I guess you'd say. So some of you may be like, I want to stay here. Some of you may feel like, I want to tip my pelvic girdle forward. Some of you may want to reach your right arm forward and then take your right arm down towards beneath the left leg, or on a block if you like that. But the idea here isn't to do a particular shape. It's not to do revolved triangle or to do pyramid, but rather just kind of let your body feel its way through this shape. Notice that even though you might be fairly stationary, it doesn't look like you're moving much. For example, if you're here in this beginning step of pyramid, but feel the flow within your own body. Feel the breath moving in and out. Notice the room with as many senses as possible. And when you're ready to come out of it, we'll just all come up into this beginning shape that we were in. Pause for a moment. And then take your hands to the floor, either into down dog, or some of you may want to come into extended child. So do what feels good to you. And feel free in this extended child or down dog to be playful there as well. So innovation and creativity are all born out of this idea of being in the flow. So when we practice trusting our intuition to flow in a way that brings us more immersed into the moment, we're really helping with those other aspects of life. When you're ready, either from down dog or from your down knee position, step your right foot gently forward and then begin to make your way into the other side. So coming up into crescent, making sure that your feet are hip distance apart, trying to bring the pelvic girdle into neutral, stretching through the back heel, lifting up through the crown. If you want, you can take your hands up into kind of a more classic version of crescent, or go ahead and play with it a little bit like we did before. This is your opportunity to be creative and to tap into what's going on inside of you. All right? And then when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and bring our hands back to the floor and walk your hands over to the left. I'll just stay here. So you're over here with your hands between your feet again. Shift the weight to the right, shift the weight to the left. Just kind of notice how that feels. Here you might want to add some arms. You might want to go ahead and let it get a little bit more flowy. I'm going to spin myself around so I don't have my butt in your face. Okay, so just kind of feel that. And then when you're ready to come up again, use your core. So I like to think of it as like you're standing on a surfboard and you want to come up with balance. So use your core either coming up flat back or curling, whichever you like better. Reach up, get your shoulders over your hips. Double check your feet. Right foot pointing straight out. That right leg's in external rotation. Left foot parallel or slightly turned in. It's in slight internal rotation. From here, that's our foundation. Go ahead and let yourself play a little bit. So you can come up and down. I like to do that sometimes. Or you can get the laser beams or paint brushes and make big circles all around you, or maybe little circles, whatever feels good to you. This is your time to just kind of play around. Nobody can see you, so you just can let your body into it where it wants to go. Okay, so I'm taking my arm behind my back so I can get a little bit more stretch in the front of my left shoulder. And then when you're ready, some of you may choose to heel toe that back foot in and come into triangle, or maybe you want to stay in warrior two and come into side angle. Some of you may want to lift up that back leg and come into half moon. All these shapes, these are called open hip shapes, these all flow really well together. So triangle, side angle, warrior two, half moon, these are all really nice shapes to sequence together. It's good for your hips. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back into warrior two, and we're going to get ready to transition back to the closed hip. So take your hands to the floor and rock side to side a little bit again. And then go ahead and walk your hands to the front of your mat. Make sure that your feet are hip distance apart. Lower your left heel and go ahead and come on up. You'll probably want to walk that left foot up a little bit closer. Okay, so the left heel is pointing towards the back of the mat, of course, and the toes are kind of pointing towards that left front corner of your mat. There's space between your heels. After you find this foundational part of this shape, go ahead and play here a little bit too. It could be you want to just take a twist to the right. It could be that you want to come forward into the preparation for revolved triangle, okay? It could be that you want to just stay with your hands overhead. Oh, I forgot to do a humble warrior on the other side of crescent. We'll do that in a minute. So just kind of feeling this shape, shrugging the shoulder blades together, pulling the shoulders away from the ears, or maybe you just want to go ahead and round the back. Okay, if you're rounding the back, if you're bringing your spine into flexion, don't twist, okay? But other than that, it's perfectly fine to round the back. So if you're going to twist, make sure you're twisting from an extended spine, okay? And then when you're ready to come out of it, we'll just go ahead and come all the way back up. Pause for a moment, getting into our foundational shape. And then go back into either down dog or back into that extended child, okay? So when you're in down dog, You can play around with that, bending one knee a little bit and then the other. If you're an extended child, you can also play with it a little bit. Sorry, my dog's crying in the background. All right. Now we're going to go into that same thing another time. Those of you who want to do down dog, do down dog. Those of you who want to do extended child, do that. Some of you may think, I just want to start from mounted. We're going to do exactly what we just did, but this time I'm going to really encourage you to be a little bit more, go out of the box a little bit more, stretch out a little bit more. So we start with our left foot forward, coming into crescent. Here we are, crescent shape. From crescent, take your arms behind you, shrug your shoulders to your ears, and then hug your shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift up. Maybe you want to do that tantric breath. And then on another inhale, lengthen, and exhale, come into humble warrior. Hands come to the floor. Walk your hands to the right. Organize your feet. Left foot faces forward, right foot parallel to the back and in the mat. Let your hips sway side to side so you can feel that stretch on the insides of your legs. Let yourself be immersed in the sensations that you're getting from your body. Those little subtle sensations that are really quite important. And then when you're ready to come up, we'll just crouch down a little bit lower, pull the navel in to activate the core, and come all the way up. We go first into warrior two. This is your warrior two. Play with it, okay? Let's see if we can take our breath a little bit more into account this time. Count 5 cycles of breath. Inhale, exhale 5 times. So as you're playing, feel yourself breathing. That was 1 for me. Feel free to bring a little bit more vocalization into it too. Some of you might want to, I've said this before, kind of or maybe you have another mantra that you like. So just play with this shape. That's probably been about 5 for you, I would imagine. It was for me. Go ahead and settle back into warrior two. Pause. Just be here in warrior two. Okay? And now we're going to play with this a little bit more. If you want, shift the weight up to the front leg and hop your back foot forward. And maybe now go into triangle. Or maybe now go into half moon. Whatever feels good to you. Let yourself play. Breathe. Can you stay here 5 cycles of breath? Inhale, exhale. Inhale all the way down to the base of your body. Exhale all the way up. So even if you're coming down with your foot, pay attention to 5 cycles of breath. And then when you've finished your 5 cycles of breath, we'll go ahead and bring our hands back to the floor and walk your hands back to the front of the mat. Here's where we move our left foot to the left. Prepare for the pyramid series. Okay, so heel to heel or wider. Back foot is pointing towards the right front corner. Play with this 5 cycles of breath. So it could be that you inhale up and exhale. Just bring your hands to your heart. It could be that you inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tip the pelvic girdle forward. And then maybe inhale back up. Whatever feels good to you. 5 cycles of breath there. Some of you might even want to take this into warrior 3. These are all just little options. But feel yourself immersed into that shape. After your 5 cycles, let's all come back up into the preparation for that pyramid pose. And then down dog, or if you want, you can just simply step your right foot forward and take your left foot back. So, warrior 2. Now the right foot's forward. Sink into the shape. Let the foundation of your lower body support the flow of your upper body. So once you have the foundation, go ahead and play with it. Now, can you take 5 cycles of breath here? So I know this is adding another element for you to consider, but there's a couple great reasons for it. One, the breath always adds more intelligence to your practice. By intelligence, I mean more intuitiveness. And also, then you know how long you've been there. You know, okay, well, I did it for 5 breaths on the other side. Now I'm doing it for 5 breaths on this side. So it's just kind of a good indicator that I've always used. After you finish your 5, go ahead and hold your warrior 2 for a moment. And then we're going to shift the weight to our right foot and let the back foot come in slightly. The foot position is the same though. Lift up out of your hips and then take your triangle. This is where 5 breaths to either stay here in triangle, or maybe you want to lift up that back foot and come into half moon. Just let yourself play. 5 breaths, 5 cycles of breath. Inhale all the way down to the base of your body. Exhale all the way up and out. And then when you finished, please take your time, but when you finish, some of us breathe a lot more quickly than others, so it's totally up to you. We're going to go ahead and come on back down. So bend the knees, get the hands to the floor, walk the hands to the front of the mat, separate your feet so that your right foot and your left foot they're sort of like on 2 separate railroad tracks, which are about hip distance apart. Then bring that back foot in a little bit closer so you have a comfortable stance. This is going to be the stance in this pose. This is your foundation, the legs again, the legs and how you want your pelvic girdle to tilt. So you can tip the pelvic girdle forward, or you can stay up and just feel that lengthening and then maybe coming in a little bit. Whatever you want to do, 5 cycles of breath. So inhaling up perhaps, maybe exhaling, twisting. Inhale, lengthen. Maybe exhale, tipping the pelvic girdle forward. I like to inhale, lengthen my left arm, and then exhale, bring my left hand to my right hip. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper, or whatever feels good to you. When you finished your 5 cycles of breath, just come back up into neutral and feel yourself stable and strong. Okay, this time, instead of us going back to down dog or into extended child, go ahead and bring your left foot up to your right, and we're going to come into mountain for a moment. So mountain, you can have your feet hip distance apart. You could have them wider than that. Whatever feels comfortable for you, you can have them closer. But the idea is to feel this almost like you have a block. And so for some of us, it's going to have to be a big block if our feet are wide. You can feel like you've got a block between your legs, and you're kind of squeezing that block and also spinning the block back behind you. So you get that kind of inward rotation. And then in mountain, bend your knees slightly and feel a little bit like your groins right here are kind of deepening. And then as you gently re-straighten your legs, you never should lock them, but just as you begin to straighten them, see if you can keep your pelvic girdle in that neutral. Likely you're going to have to draw your navel in a little bit to bring you into a little bit of backward pelvic tilt. Elongate up through the crown, pause, and now we're going to go into tree pose. So if you want to have something to hold on to, this would be a good time to grab that. And also if you want to have a block to put your foot on, this would be a good time to do that. So with this mountain shape, we want to keep the mountain shape. We're going to bring the right heel into our left ankle. And then begin to elevate the right heel any amount up the left leg. I've got my foot on a block just to show you that that's an option. You can also put your foot on the inside of the leg, whatever feels good to you. Okay, so as you probably guessed, this is our foundation for this pose right now, the leg position, the strong left leg, which is still maintaining that slight inner rotation. Feel, again, like you've got a block on the inside of that left leg and you're pressing your leg into the block. Conversely, on the right side, we're now bringing the right knee more behind us a bit. Okay, so this is obviously external rotation, this is internal rotation. Find your foundation, and then let's play with this shape for 5 cycles of breath. So it could be that you just want to bring the arms up and slide them over to one side, and then the other. You may want to take the arms behind your back, shrug your shoulders towards your ears again, pull the shoulder blades together, and press the knuckles towards the floor, or whatever feels good to you. You can take them over to one side, maybe close your eyes. Just feel the flow of being a tree, as if you're one of these trees that's blooming right now so beautifully. Just kind of feel yourself as that tree, taking a shape that is inherent to your intuition. Okay? 5 cycles of breath. You might fall a little bit. Just make that fall be kind of part of the dance, okay? Just let it help you.
15.
And then when you're ready, bring the knee back in and back down. Give yourself a little shake of the hips. And let's start the other side, okay? Same thing. Feel the right leg in slight internal rotation. That's your foundation. And then lift up the left heel. You can put it right on the inside of your right ankle or all the way up, or putting mine on a block here, okay? And then from here, be aware of those two actions. I think it's harder to put them on a block than on my leg. Feel that inner leg in a slight internal rotation. Feel this left leg moving outward. Okay, so it may not go all the way back. Like if you're standing against a wall, it may not hit the wall. That's not the point. The point is just to feel the stretch on the inside of the left leg. And then from here, let's start counting our cycles of breath. So inhale all the way down to the base of the body. Exhale all the way up, and then play with the breath as you move into different shapes. Maybe stretch one arm up, taking the other arm down. Just let your body move in these shapes. See if you can count 5 cycles of breath. And again, if you fall, just let it be part of the dance. Just come right back on up. And then when you finish your 5 cycles of breath, bring the knee back in, the foot back to the floor. And notice how your hips feel. Let your body sway laterally, side to side, sort of like you're doing that standing half moon pose, just so you can feel the work that you did in your hips. And then we're going to do a pose or a movement called crashing wave. You do want to watch your core on this shape a little bit because you want to keep it engaged. You don't want to just, flop down. But it looks like it's like a crashing wave. You take a deep inhale and exhale. And then inhale, come back up. And then exhale. And then another one, inhale. Now in this shape, let's land in this sort of kind of like, I guess they call it an athletic stance or something like that, where you're your knees are bent and your spine is long, your gaze is up, and just feel yourself kind of finding your stability here. And we're going to do this little playful thing, okay? So we're going to end up being in tree pose with the left foot down. So we're going to be down here like this, and then take a deep inhale, and on an exhale, bring that right foot up, come back down. Exhale, bring the right foot back up. 3 more times, up. 1 more time, up. And then we're gonna go ahead and stay this time. Stay up, find the place on your leg where you want to land your foot. Keep the outer leg, the left leg pressing into the foot, and just take a moment for your tree pose. It might feel different now than it has in the past because you allowed yourself to play with this shape a little bit and find different ways of getting into it and also of being in it. And then to get out of it, you're just going to take that right foot back to the floor and come back down into this position. Keep the chest up, chest open, shoulder blades flat on the back, core engaged. Take a deep inhale, and on exhale, lift up, back down, come back up, back down, back up, down. After you've done 5, I'm gonna go ahead and hold on to this so I can talk. You're gonna land in your shape, okay? Now be here in your tree pose and just kind of feel it as if it's morphed or changed a little bit. You have a little bit more perhaps interest in this shape now that you've added the opportunity to play with it, to play with being in it in a different way. As I said, transitioning in and out of it in a different way. And then when you're ready, we're just going to end up back down in this shape. Pause for a moment. Those of you who like Malasana, let's go ahead and lower into Malasana. Malasana looks like this, okay? So if you'd rather not do Malasana, you can stay up a little bit higher like this. Okay, the idea is we're going to feel as we inhale that we're taking it all the way down to the base of our body. And as you exhale, feel like you're retrieving from the base of your body, from even your feet, everything that you want to release. And just release it out the mouth. You might even feel like you're releasing it out the pores of your body too. So take a few more like that. Just inhale all the way down to the base. And you can even exhale out the mouth. Inhale all the way down to the base. Exhale. And then go ahead and roll all the way down to your hips, okay? Bring your feet out in front of you. Take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. Okay, we're going to take, if you can, Baddha Konasana. So this is just cobbler pose. Feel like your feet are pressing into each other. You might need to lean back a little bit like I'm doing, but what we want to do is keep our spine in neutral, so we're not rounding yet here. You can sit on a block. That might make it more available to you. Okay, so once you have your position, your feet, especially the pinky toe side of your feet pressing together, lengthen up through the core. Keep the length in the spine, and then exhale and begin to tip the pelvic girdle forward, over, or maybe just towards your heels. So the idea is to keep this forward pelvic tilt, okay, and to keep the spine long. So take a few cycles of breath here. If you want, especially if you had another block, this is a technique that I really like. If you want, feel like you're pressing your feet into something for 7 seconds. So you just count, press, keep pressing. Then take the block out, and you'll find that you might be able to go in a little bit deeper. It's part of that proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, PNF technique. So just being here. Now, we've kept our spine long in extension. Let's go ahead now and begin to allow the spine to round a little bit, but feel like you're initiating this action from your core. Feel like your belly is scooping in and letting the spine round, kind of like that work we did at the beginning when we were doing that first series and we're pulling our belly in that sort of Halloween cat position. Feel that action. Let's take 5 cycles of breath here. During the 5 cycles, you might want to walk your hands over to one side or the other. Just count your cycles of breath. Inhale, exhale. You might want to come up, lift your heart, take a deep inhale, and exhale out the mouth, whatever. This is 5 cycles to enjoy cobbler pose. Now when you're ready to come up, go ahead and bring your feet back to the floor. Draw your knees towards the chest, and then slide your legs out. They may, when I say out, it may be that they're still bent a little bit, or it may be they're kind of wide. Okay, whatever feels good. See if you can find as much as possible that long spine, okay, that axial lengthening. One hand comes to the heart, one hand comes to the low belly. Now we're going to let the belly initiate the action again. So feel the belly caving back towards the spine, and then let your legs lift up. Pause here as long as you want. You can try to pause here for 5 cycles of breath, playing with it a little bit, maybe lifting one leg and then the other, maybe taking the arms behind your head, whatever. Let's stay here 5 cycles of breath. Maybe doing a round of row your boat. Okay, sometimes I do that with classes. So be here in boat, and it could be that your heel's on the floor. Don't feel like you have to make this into something that is going to hurt your back just because you want to keep this shape. Heels on the floor are totally fine. When you finish though, let's go ahead and come back up, bringing our legs back in front of us. Again, they can be bent or straight. Now we're going to go into a pose called Uttanasana Konasana. So it's just the same as Baddha Konasana, only this time our legs are straight, but the femurs are just like they were in Baddha Konasana. They're pointing outwards. They're an external rotation. And then, again, just like we did in Baddha Konasana, first find length in the spine. It might be that you want to put a block underneath your hips to do this easier. And then lengthen forward. See if you can keep the length in the spine. And then when you have the stability of your legs, and you're aware that your pelvic girdle is tilted forward, now go ahead and let the spine round and play with this shape for 5 cycles of breath. So it could be that you walk your hands over to one side or the other side. It could be that rather than keeping in that forward fold, you want to come up and take one arm up and over. Okay? So just play with this shape in a way that makes sense for you. 5 cycles of breath. Okay? Feel the breath. Don't cheat the breath. Feel it. Feel the whole cycle. Inhaling all the way down to your base and exhaling, excavating all the way up from the base. When you finished your 5 cycles, we're going to go ahead and bring our legs back in. Did you notice how when you notice your breathing, it kind of changes a little bit? And it definitely changes your posture. So it's a really good technique. Okay, now we're going to go back into where we went before. So hand to the heart, hand to the belly, round the back, scoop the belly in towards the low back. Let the action of the core lift the legs. Remember, we're going to be here 5 cycles of breath, so if you prefer, keep the heels down or keep them up. Play with it, 5 cycles of breath. Your arms can go out to the side. You could try taking them up and overhead. But be with this pose and your breath for 5 cycles. It's like you're dancing with the breath. Your body and your breath are like partners in a dance. And as Alan Watts says, the point of a dance is never to get to the end, but just to do the dance. But he's not probably saying that while he's doing boat pose. So when you're ready, we'll all end up back here. And we're going to do one more shape. Bring your left heel in towards your left sit bone. Take your right leg out to the right a little bit more. So this is kind of like Uttanasana Konasana, which you just did. We're going to look over our left shoulder. So my left knee is bent. I'm going to look over my left shoulder. Incidentally, you can put a block underneath your left knee if you want, or something under your right knee. Lift the left arm up and over, any amount. It could be that you stay right here. It could be that you take the left arm over towards your right knee. Okay, 5 cycles of breath here. Play with this shape. Maybe you want to do some of that action that we did when we were in Warrior 2, where we took the arm like we're painting the ceiling, painting a big rainbow across the ceiling. Or maybe rather you want to keep the left arm behind your back and just let your right ear drop to your right shoulder and get this nice yummy stretch in the left shoulder, the left neck, the left pectoral. When you finish your 5 cycles of breath, just come back to neutral. But remember, it's the dance. It's not to get to the end. Okay, so see if you can just be here, giving yourself permission to be immersed in this shape for 5 cycles of breath. When you're ready to come up, gently bring yourself back to neutral. And we're just going to take it to the other side because we don't have tons of time left. So open up. Right knee could be supported, left knee could be supported. Look over your right shoulder. Right arm comes up and over. And then start your own little, what do you call it? Stopwatch, but by using the breath. So just counting the breath. Incidentally, that's usually about 25 seconds, 15 to 25 seconds. So that's how long you're in this shape. Play with it. Notice how this side feels compared to the other side. It might be that this side is easier, harder. You might notice different things. And you can play with your elbow and your wrist too, like we did at the very beginning when we were doing that kind of swirly stuff with our body. And then when you finish your 5 cycles, say goodbye to the pose, but keep the breath with you and come all the way up. All right, we're going to bring both legs back out in front of us because we're going to go ahead and roll to the floor. This is where we're getting ready to go into Shavasana and then just do our closing poses here. So if you want a blanket or something to put under your knees, this would be a good time to grab that. And then let yourself roll to the floor and come into a comfortable position. This is called constructive rest because your spine can stay in its natural curves, but you are working a little bit. You're working to keep your knees in front of your hips or in line with your hips. So just kind of being here. Let's press the low back into the floor and then let the low back arch. And let this be your last little flow. Let's stay in this position
for 5 cycles of breath by staying in this position. I mean, you may just be rocking your pelvic girdle back and forth, or you might be bringing your hips up and then back down. You might want to add the arms and hips up and arms and hips down. You may want to roll your knees to one side and then the other. Stay 5 cycles of breath. Some of you may want to push up into wheel pose, or some of you may want to take that block and put it underneath your hips and just slide your legs out. So whatever feels good to you. When you finish your 5 cycles, rock your knees side to side, first to one side and then to the other side. So you kind of have the idea now. I'm just giving you a sort of a really basic template, and the key to really getting more out of your practice is to be playful, to weave the breath in, to be intuitive and curious, to go slow so you can boost your own mindfulness about what's happening. And this is where your whole moving practice becomes like a moving meditation, okay? So after you've done your little twisty stuff, whatever you want to do, let yourself land, sort of like what we've been doing. We kind of play and then we go ahead and land in a position that you feel is super comfortable for you. So it could be, that you're lying flat on your back, could be that you're sitting up or your legs are up the wall, whatever. Just find a place that feels comfortable for you. And once you're in that position that you feel is comfortable, go ahead and relax as much as possible into the surface, as if you're being held by Mother Earth, like you're just in the embrace, in the stable and comfortable embrace of Mother Earth. And then do a little body scan, maybe starting with the toes and then move up through the body. And if there's a place that you detect, almost like you've got a little detective spyglass, if there's a place you detect that there's a holding going on, tension going on, feel as if there's a third lung in that place and see if you can breathe right down to that place. This actually has been shown to be quite effective as far as dealing with pain or other things, that they've used biofeedback to do this. So feel as if you're sending your breath to that one spot, filling that spot as if it's a third lung. Allow yourself to deepen your awareness as you travel from your toes to the top of your head, and feel even as if the top of your head is open. And that might seem kind of weird, but we are open. Every cell in our body is open, which means we can take in and we can let go. So feel yourself letting go and taking in, even from the top of your head. And then pause there for a moment at the top of your head and feel as if someone is telling you, you are perfect. You aren't here to change yourself. You are here to accept yourself, whoever, wherever you are. You're here to forgive and just be. Just be in this dance. Just be in this dance of life. To love, to live, to laugh. That is the point. So understanding this, the last limb is called samadhi, and it means absorption. It means absorption like immersion, but absorption in the moment and in that knowledge that I just mentioned, that you are perfect. You are not here to change. You're here to learn more about
who you are and what your gifts are that you bring to this infinite cycle of life of which you're an integral part. As Eric Schiffman says, is to learn that we are each unique and specific expressions of the life force. So let yourself be absorbed in that concept here just for 5 more cycles of breath. Just feel that being drawn in with your inhale and feel it being shared as you exhale, as if you're sharing that wisdom to all the loved ones in your life, and even maybe more broadly into those you've never met, and even more broadly still into those who may bring you discomfort. Understanding that the real sin is to believe that we are separate. The point is to understand that we are all connected. When you finish your 5 cycles of breath, you can just stay here for a while. Or when you're ready, begin to make the transition back to a seated position or a more upright position. So stay where you are. Again, trust your intuition. What feels right to you right now? Does it feel better to lay here for a while and just kind of immerse in this kind of warm bath of fuzziness, of peace? Or does it feel better to go ahead and come up and move into your day by first transitioning into a comfortable seated position, bringing your hands to your heart in gratitude to yourself for taking time out for this practice, and then bring your palms together in the Anjali Mudra. Fingertips to the forehead to indicate the desire for a clear and calm mind, to the lips to indicate the desire for honest and compassionate communication, and then back to the heart center to indicate the desire for loving intention. May our practice help us become more grounded so we can be more open and free and playful and experimental and curious and all that other stuff. May it help us become kinder so we can teach peace with our own unique example. And may you have a day of infinite blessings and the wisdom to see and receive them. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thanks, yogis. And if you have any questions, you can just message me. And all these videos are saved for a while, at least on Facebook. Then also on Vimeo.com. And my name is Debbie Murphy. It's DebbieMurphy. Okay? And I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.